The elections are now over, a hard-fought battle. What do you think are the most significant dimensions of this?
This election of 2012, I think, will go down historically as one of the most important we have had in terms of, number one, making a very, very clear choice in the public's mind as to the economic direction we want to go in this country. We do want to deal with the budget deficit, but the rich, the wealthy, who now have about 20% of total income in this country and almost 40% of total wealth, they have got to pay their fair share. The Bush tax cuts will come to an end, at least for the wealthy, and people who are earning under $250,000 should get a tax break. Inequality in this country has reached almost record levels, certainly since 1913, where we know and we have data going back that far. Therefore, out of fairness, but it's not just out of fairness, it's also out of economic growth and the need for growth, because the middle class is the repository of much of your demand in the economy. Fairness and growth and the economic well-being of this country depend upon the rich paying more. But it's not just that. This election also marked, for me and for many others, a very important milestone in terms of Latinos and women and African Americans and young people in terms of their having a voice. For too long in this country, the major voice has been limited to white men. We, at least on paper, are a country that is becoming and has become more and more varied and with greater and greater diversity, but it wasn't until this election that it sunk in to the public's mind and it sunk into politicians' minds that Latinos and African Americans and women and young people are key voting blocs, that if you ignore them and just court white men, you are not going to win an election. That realization alone is going to change public policy. It's going to change immigration policy. It's going to lead toward more liberalization with regard to social policy. It's going to lead to a greater degree of inclusion in very many ways in this country. I think it is also important for the country as a whole to have a sense that we continue to progress, to make progress in terms of reproductive rights and also in terms of the rights of people to marry, even of their same gender. We saw in states after states ballot measures that confirmed the public's value on marriage equality and also on reproductive rights. This is new in this country. I mean, we've been moving and trending in this direction, but we haven't had such a clear indication of where we are moving until this election. So my hope is that this election will do what we need to have done in terms of bringing Americans together. This has been a very divided country. It's peculiar because we are not divided on issues nearly as much as we were divided, say, during the Vietnam War or during the 1950s when we had communist witch hunts, or even during the civil rights struggle. And yet, ideologically, we have been extraordinarily divided on the size of government, the role and focus of government, on women's reproductive rights. Hopefully, we will now get beyond those divisions. Hopefully now, with this election, re-electing President Obama, re-electing the first African American to be our president, Americans will understand the direction we are going in, that the future is not as the same as the past. We can't go back to a country in which the median wage is declining and also in which a shrinking portion of the total electorate, and that is, again, white men, have all the say. We are moving toward a more inclusive country and hopefully a country in which inequality stops haunting us and we get on, hopefully, in the second administration of Barack Obama with the extraordinarily difficult but extraordinarily important job of not only including everybody, but making sure that the economic pie is large and that the circle of prosperity is very, very wide.